Thank you so much for taking some time here to refuse to sink to infertility here at Gateway to Parenthood 2017. I'd like to introduce some information regarding fertility care and finances. As much as we'd love to have fertility care that is free, there is definitely a big connection between fertility care and the financial aspect. I want to look at some options to consider, how to make some savings, and thoughts that can be very important as one goes through the journey moving forward. My name is Dale Bader. I am the Marketing Director with the Missouri Center for Reproductive Medicine, MCRM Fertility. And like you, I am one of the 8. My wife and I went through infertility nearly 10 years ago. And prior to that, we had 4 years where we struggled through infertility. And we went through the process and spoke with different physicians. Was even told that our chances were extremely minimal, that even with the use of in vitro fertilization, that we likely would not be able to have children. It was both male and female factor related. But I'm happy to announce today that I have 9-year-old twins and a very special surprise that came afterwards. So, like you, I understand the emotional road that your journey is taking you along, as well as the financial road. And I want to provide some insight from my experiences and from my knowledge that can be beneficial and help you along the road and make it as smooth going forward as possible. The cost of fertility care can be quite varying, and there are lots and lots of different variables that decide for what that cost is going to be. It could be as simple as a few $100s with some very basic medication that might be all that you need to induce ovulation and obtain a pregnancy. But it can then range well into the thousands and tens of thousands of dollars, depending on exactly the course of treatment that is required for your individual and personal circumstances. And that can be, again, from ovulation induction to intrauterine insemination, IUI, in vitro fertilization, third-party reproduction. Maybe you choose to go the route of adoption. Again, those all add up in the different cost structures. And then there's the sidebar costs that also tag in. Medication costs, travel costs, time off of work, those type of category costs that most people tend to forget about. So with that in mind, how can one simply get through this? There's different items and different tricks that I think are very useful and can be helpful to really help you get the most out of your treatment plan, highest level of success with the lowest amount of costs. Don't be embarrassed or concerned to visit multiple doctors and multiple centers. I often come across individuals who have gone to one center and they're very concerned that they're looking at another center, that the previous center is going to get really upset. Ultimately, this is about you, and it's about the end result that you desire. So do yourself your favor. Go ahead and shop around. But when doing so, be sure you compare the oranges to oranges and the apples to apples and not the oranges to apples. There is so much variety and differences amongst fertility centers, and you would think because we're all in the business to provide fertility care that everybody has the same offerings, and that's not the case. There are so many different variables, and I've actually done a presentation that's available at youtube.com/mcrmfertility that really talks more about things to look at when comparing fertility centers on a very even-based field. Be sure you find the best value. The bottom line price may not truly be what it ends up adding up to be. And when I say best value, look at total costs, look at Number of cycles likely going to be required because that's going to add to that total cost. So you may find a center that offers $5,000 in vitro fertilization, but it may take you 3 cycles. So now you're at $15,000. Maybe you had a center that you could have gone to for $12,000 and you would have been done in 1. Well, you would have saved $3,000 and a lot of emotion and the cost of medications on top of that. So those type of things you want to look into. And then determine the courses of payment that you're going to be utilizing. Some are going to be blessed and have some insurance coverage. Others are not. And so what options are the right options for you? Are you a cash pay patient? Are you insurance coverage? Are you a combination of both? In some circumstances, some items may get coverage with insurance, but you're still going to have cash pay out-of-pocket expenses. What about discount savings programs and available scholarships, grants, and lending options? Those are all things that I will be able to cover in this presentation. Let's first talk about the 700-pound gorilla that's in the corner. That's the insurance. Insurance is a very complicated beast. So you have to really be aware of what your particular benefits and coverage are. Every plan is different and unique, and every payer is unique in the way they go about things. At MCR Fertility, we ask for insurance information up front, not to scare individuals, but to help individuals. We take that information and we do an initial investigation of your insurance benefits and coverage so that you have that information up front. But we always give you the caveat. We don't guarantee the benefits and the insurance coverage. We can go by the information provided to us, but even the insurance companies don't guarantee what they're telling us is always exactly 100% the true information. So it is your responsibility to know your benefits and coverage and to verify information that's provided to you. Whether or not you might have diagnostic coverage, which is initial testing and evaluation, to treatment coverage, medication coverage, or combination thereof. That information is very important to know, and you want to make sure you take a few moments to review your insurance policy, speak with your human resource director, or review with your insurance information, and go with what the infertility center may provide to you as a start. But remember, it's just a start. Diagnostic coverage. This can cover, and these are just some examples. This doesn't necessarily mean this is the complete picture, but if you have diagnostic coverage, you very well likely have coverage for an initial consultation with a fertility expert. And there's likely a chance that some of the initial workup and testing, which would include blood work or a ultrasound to review the number of follicles that you're producing, or possibly even an evaluation of whether or not your tubes are clear or not. That's an HSG. And there may be looking at the determination of care or treatment. So these are typically the first steps. A lot of individuals, and I would say greater than half, probably looking in more than 75%, have at least diagnostic coverage. But once a determination is designed and come up with of the cause or the diagnosis, then that's where the branch really starts to widen. Treatment coverage. So once diagnostics are completed and a diagnosis is provided, again, many insurances, that's where the coverage stops. But if you do have treatment coverage, then the question is, well, first of all, do you have any of it? But if you do, does it cover just intrauterine inseminations? Does it cover both IUI and IVF? Would it cover third-party reproduction? What stipulations are there? Are there limits to the number of treatments that you can do within a calendar year, within a lifetime? Do you have to do so many of one treatment before you can move on to another? Again, these are all little caveats inside your insurance policy. Medication coverage. Again, some insurance plans will cover it. And in many cases, if they do cover have insurance medication coverage, there will be specific preferred medications and preferred pharmacies. And so that will also dictate on your road to treatment. Do you live in a mandate insurance coverage state? Currently, there are 15 states in the United States that do have a stipulation to provide coverage for infertility treatment. These states include Arkansas and California, Connecticut, Hawaii, Illinois, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Montana, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Rhode Island, Texas, and West Virginia. But be careful. There are loopholes. As I mentioned before, my wife and I went through the infertility journey. At the time, we were Illinois residents. The coverage of mandate was there at the time, but both my wife's insurance plan and my insurance plan fell into loopholes. So while we were Illinois residents, we did not fall into the Illinois mandate. One of the big loopholes is self-insured versus a fully insured plan and the number of employees, as well as to where you might be employed. So hopefully, if you live in one of those mandate states, your insurance policy is part of the mandate. But realize there are loopholes. There's a great resource that is available that you can go to. It is Resolve, the National Infertility Awareness Association. On their website, they do have additional information regarding a plethora of information for infertility, but specifically related to insurance coverage and state mandate coverage. Since we deal with so many Illinois patients, and we're right here at the gateway to the West, right on the Mississippi River with Illinois on one side and Missouri on the other, I wanted to take a moment to review the Illinois Family Building Act. This is the mandate in Illinois that entitles most Illinois residents to fertility care coverage. You are covered if you are part of a fully insured group plan that is greater than 25 in that plan. You must be unable to conceive naturally for over a year, or you have been unable to sustain a successful pregnancy, and you have been diagnosed with infertility by a physician, and have undergone 1 year of medically based treatment, such as IUI. And there are some, again, loops here that can be opened up, but this is the general basic information to assist you with. So what is covered if you're blessed to be part of the Illinois Family Building Act? Your diagnostics, treatment, including IUI and IVF with ICSI, your medications, if you are needing associated items such as donor eggs and sperm, medical expenses related to utilizing a donor potentially, or it may be you've had a vasectomy, you need sperm retrieval or the egg retrieval, and then the process of transferring an egg and embryo back together as well. Here are some of those loopholes I was mentioning. If your employer hires less than 25 employees, more than likely you're not going to be a part of this. If you're part of a self-insured plan, or your employer is headquartered outside of Illinois. Religious organizations, sterilization reversals are not attempted initially. So if you've had a vasectomy, for example, you will have had to try a vasectomy reversal initially. Or if you've reached a lifetime max. We do have some additional details available via our website that talk specifically about the Illinois Family Building Act. And if you'd like some additional information, that's a great resource to review. So for the majority of you, you're a cash pay patient in most likelihood. So how can you save? Well, here at MCRM, for example, and at other fertility centers, a lot of them offer similar savings. We offer educator discounts, military employee discounts, first responder discounts. So we try to help where we can to cut the costs down for the patients. Simply, wherever you choose to go for fertility care, ask. Ask what discounts do you have available that you might be eligible for. Try to save where you can on medications. Medications are a large cost structure part of your treatment. So know what available programs are out there. We try to keep an updated list available at the MCRM website that you can check out that mentions the different fertility pharmacies and fertility drug manufacturers discount programs that can help save you money. The big one that we tend to refer a lot of our patients to is called the Compassionate Care Program. It is actually operated by the EMD Serono Company, which provides Gonal-F, Avidril, and Cetratide. Those are some of the medications used in infertility care. This is available for self-pay patients. Just by completing the application and providing the information, you'll automatically receive a 10% discount on your medications. So everybody that is either using Gonal-F, Avidril, or Cetratide should be at least filling this application process out because you're going to at least gain some savings. You could see savings as much as 75% on those medications. It is income-based, so they will review that information, and typically they're pretty quick at getting you a response back. If for some reason you do have insurance, you could still have some savings on your copays. Serono does offer a copay savings card that will save you up to $250 on your out-of-pocket costs. Again, that's for Gonal-F, Avidril, and Cetratide. It is used at participating pharmacies. If you go to Walgreens for your medications, through the New Life Agency, the Fertility Pharmacy Savings Card. And this is for medications for use for infertility, for egg donor and surrogates. You purchase the Fertility Savings Card online. It will cost you $25. You will then receive a $25 Walgreens gift card in the mail. So basically the card will become free at that point. And for every $1,000 of eligible pharmaceutical purchases that you make, you will receive a $100 discount. Another savings program is called the IVF Greenlight program. This saves medication costs on Ferring medications. That includes Brevel, Menopur, Endometrium, Novarel. There is no financial criteria required. However, there are minimum purchase required with this program. DesignRx, these is a savings program that works with participating pharmacies across the United States. And this helps with some of the Merck products, including Follistim and Ganirelix. And you can save up to $300 on the out-of-pocket cost for Follistim, up to $100 for Ganirelix. You will have to enroll at DesignRx to be entered into this program. But again, if you are on these type of medications, you try to save as much money as possible. So what about IVF grants and scholarships? They are out there. These are just 3 of them that I'm going to review real quickly that are available. More information is available again at the resolve.org website. But I want to go into detail about a few of these individual programs and grants that are currently available to you. The first one is the Life Foundation grant, and this grant is available for residents of Illinois and their neighboring states. So those of you in Missouri, Indiana, Wisconsin, you're all included in this, and they help cover the financial costs associated with the family building request. Requests for these grants cannot exceed $10,000. One of the changes in this year, they have increased the household income level to under $150,000, where before it was $100,000. The application process will open on April 24th, 2017, and typically the applications are accepted for about a month. They do not currently have the final closing date posted on their website. So you may want to visit their website, which is lifefindsaway.org, to review for further updates regarding this program. But they do mention that they're anticipating providing the awards in July of 2017. Now, they do have a couple different grant types, one that is a treatment grant and one that is a financial grant. The financial assistance grants may be utilized in a much more broad spectrum, so this would help cover medication costs, the cost of cryopreserving embryos, that's the freezing of embryos. Maybe you're wanting to go through the process of embryo donation. Maybe you are wanting to do PGS or PGD testing, pre-genetic implantation screening. That can be done, and this will help cover those costs. Maybe you're in the requirement of a donor or surrogate, third-party reproduction. Maybe you simply want to preserve your fertility, whether it be for a cancer or medical reason, or maybe you're a young individual that is looking to preserve your fertility for the future. Vasectomy reversals, for testes, that's a process resulting to extruding the sperm directly, adoption fees, and attorney fees resulting as a result of adoption or third-party reproduction. The IVF Cycle Grants, these are donated IVF cycles from the Life Foundation grant partners and their specific facilities. This is a great option for those of you that need IVF but don't have insurance coverage. Due to the availability, the grants are awarded. You may be awarded a grant to a specific fertility care center that is not the current one that you're utilizing to care for. So those that donate the treatment are the ones that the grants are going to be issued out for. They do try to make the best attempt to provide you the grant to the nearest fertility care center, but they can't guarantee that. So, how are your chances with the Life Foundation grant? Well, I can give you some numbers from 2016. In 2016, 87 individuals applied, and there were 14 grants awarded. So that's a pretty good percentage. That's like 16% of those that applied were able to receive an award of assistance. 8 of those were IVF Cycle Grants. 1 was a specific grant for the use of PGD, and 5 additional financial grants were provided. So for additional information and to apply, simply go to lifefindsaway.org/grants, and good luck. Another grant that is available is the Baby Quest Foundation grant. This grant is awarded twice a year and increment values from $2,000 up to $16,000. The applications have begun to be accepted at this time, and the upcoming deadline for the next grant period is May 24th, 2017. And this is open to all permanent U.S. residents. You can get additional details at the URL that you see there on the screen. The Baby Quest Foundation actually came and spoke recently here in St. Louis, and I just want to give a couple quick guidelines. And I think these guidelines are great for not only the Baby Quest Foundation application process, but for any of the grants that you might consider. Just remember, grants are competitive, so you've got to make the best first impression that you possibly can. So when you submit your application, make sure it is legible or preferably typed. Be sure you meet your deadlines. Mail in your packets if those are going by mail. The Baby Quest grant does go by mail. And be sure you do so using a tracking method and that you track the delivery of your individual grant application. There are a bunch of rules on the individual grants websites, including the Baby Quest Foundation. But here are some additional hints. Know what procedure it is that you are requesting. Are you requesting IUI? Are you requesting IVF? Are you requesting IVF with PGS? Are you requesting IVF with ICSI and PGS? Those type of things. Be sure you know very detailed what it is that you are requesting. And know the costs that are associated with the information being provided that your doctor is recommending for treatment. Be honest if a grant asks how much
Can you contribute to your current cause? Be sure you're honest about that because they will review that information. One of the things BabyQuest has made known is please don't ask for plans that offer multiple attempts. There are a lot of individuals applying, and they want to keep this open and available to as many individuals as possible. And they are going to require you to follow the recommendation of your fertility expert, your physician. Be sure your application is concise and has a forceful personal statement. Let people know that are reading the application what this truly means to you and the process that you've gone through. Do not submit scrapbooks and picture books and huge folders. Those people that are, think of it as if you're reviewing these applications. Are you going to want to sit there for hours on end going through a flip book when you may have 100 or more applications to review? So just keep that in mind as well. And don't hesitate to ask your doctor for available discounts as well. Yes, you can be selected. Yes, you can win. We're proud to announce that last year here in St. Louis alone, one of the St. Louis applicants received a BabyQuest Foundation grant. So be positive, be hopeful, and give it all that you can. There's another, and this will conclude our last grant. This is the Tina Q. Cade Foundation Family Building Grant. This is awarded twice a year up to $10,000. You also must have an infertility diagnosis and must be a legal permanent U.S. resident. They typically offer a grant in the fall and in the spring. The upcoming fall grant is now going to have a deadline of July 1st. We have already passed for the spring grant, so just keep that in mind for next year. It's around February 1st. And additional information is available via their foundation website, which is www.cadefoundation.org/grants. I hope this information helps you and better prepares you as you continue along in your journey. I wish you the very best, and please don't hesitate to ask any questions that you might have. If I don't know the answer, I will do the very best to get the answer for you or point you in the right direction. You can contact me right there, as you see on the screen, by either contacting me directly on my phone number or via email. I wish you the very best, and God bless.